USM.
This is NBC Nightly News, Thursday, April 21st, with John Chancellor and David Brinkley reporting from the NBC News Center in New York.
Good evening. President Carter has asked the American people to change their habits and their way of living because the energy to support the present way of life is not available. Depending on what happens and how it turns out, this could be one of the memorable events in American history. Tonight, we will try to see what is likely to happen and how public officials and private people feel about all of this. NBC's correspondents are standing by in 7 different places. Frank Bergholzer in a gasoline station in Los Angeles. George Lewis in an oil field near Houston, Texas. Mike Jackson in an automobile showroom in Chicago. John Cochran at the White House in Washington. Catherine Mackin at the U.S. Capitol in Washington. Robert Hager with the Ochino family in Muncie, New York. And Garrick Utley on the Westminster Bridge in London. We will hear from and talk with all of them. John?
On the proposed gasoline tax, the president wants to set a target for reduced use of gas next year. If we use more gas, a 5 cents a gallon tax would be imposed the following year, 1978, and each year after if we miss the target, up to a total of 50 cents of tax a gallon of gas. If we use less gas, the tax would be reduced, and the money paid on that tax would be returned to the taxpayers in rebates, all designed to keep us from using too much gas. Frank Bergholzer is in California, where they use a lot of gas. Frank, what's being said out there?
Well, they do use a lot of gas here, John. I think it's about 1 gallon out of every 10 bought in the United States is bought here in California. The people we've been talking to seem to feel that the president's goals are very worthwhile and they want to support them. They're not so sure about the 5 cents a gallon tax as the best way to do it.
What would happen in a city like Los Angeles, which is laid out for the automobile? Frank, how will they deal with that?
The general view here is that people are going to have to drive their cars. And if it's going to cost a lot of money, then they'll have to pay it. I think it's most people's opinion that if it's going to cost a lot more, it'll cost a lot more, and it may be unfair to people like those here in Los Angeles. But why don't I ask one person over here who just came in to buy some gas, what is your opinion of what might happen if you have to pay a lot more because of the tax?
I'll start walking. I'm very much concerned, and obviously, I can't withstand the increase in costs. I don't think any of us can in the present economy. So I'll have to take some other means of transportation.
How about this car you've got? It uses a lot, doesn't it?
Very definitely. And it's some 3-4 years old. I'll have to get rid of it. I'll have to get something cheaper or start walking.
Okay, thanks very much. Well, that's one man's view, John.
Frank, have there been any official statements from the California state government? Has the governor said anything, or the mayor of Los Angeles today?
The mayor of Los Angeles has spoken of pretty much what we've been saying, that Los Angeles is a kind of special case, but also he and others have mentioned that actually in Los Angeles there is a very much larger percentage of purchase of low gas using cars than in the rest of the country. Something like 61% of the people here last year bought economy cars, which means economy on fuel as well.
Frank, thank you very much. In Europe, where gasoline has cost up to $2 a gallon, some cases more, people have been living with this kind of thing for quite a long time and have been living, in many cases, most cases, rather well, using a great deal less energy than we do. Garrick Utley is on the Westminster Bridge in London. Garrick, what kind of reaction do you find? First, tell us how people there live with expensive gasoline. What do they do about it?
Well, David, right now it's after midnight here in London and throughout Europe. And when they get up tomorrow morning, they're going to have the problem of gas, which is at the least twice the cost of what it is in the United States. Today I made some calls around Europe to give you some examples of this. Here in Britain, a gallon of gas costs $1.30. In West Germany, it's $1.60 a gallon. In France, it's $1.70. And believe it or not, in Italy, it's $2.13 a gallon, and it's still going up. Well, how do people cope with it? They pay the price, of course. It's important to remember, though, that they have been accustomed to high cost of gasoline. Prices here have always been twice what they are in America. So they're complaining about inflation, but Americans are not going to find any sympathy on this side of the ocean for an increase in the American gasoline price.
Garrick, as I understand it, the West German per capita income is about what ours is. Their standard of living is about what ours is. I think in the United States we get an average of 13 miles per gallon, and in Germany they get about 27.
That's standard all over Europe, John. You'll find in Italy they drive Fiats. In Germany they're driving mainly Volkswagens. Here they drive Minis. The average European driver in the average car expects to get a minimum of 25 to 30 miles a gallon of gas. The famous London taxi cabs, for